Yeah. Yeah. I know they mad for no reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Gotta move fast for a reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Oh, 700K, I'm selling a Bitcoin. Haters mad, but they listen to this one. More profit coming to my direction. Yeah, you know me, I don't need a mention. I got the remedy, ooh, yeah. They don't just follow me, ooh, yeah. You say allegedly, ooh, yeah. You would subscribe to me, ooh, yeah. Staring at chart, drawing a line. Make a decision, you out of time. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. See on stage. On-chain revolution. Done this. Boom.
Welcome back to On-Chain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. It is going to be absolutely amazing because right now we have Bitcoin sitting at $93,967. Let's go. This feels so much better than 87, where we were going to 89, back to 87. 93 does feel good, but Benjamin Cohen wants to throw a monkey wrench in and saying that 99,000 he believes will be a higher low to send us back down to 70. So my question for you guys, and throw it in the chat right now, would love to know, is Benjamin Cohen going to continue to be right in 2026 as much as he has been right in 2025? I mean, he called pretty much everything correctly. I'm thinking about it right now, and I don't remember one time where Benjamin Cohen did not at least, be semi-right in every aspect of everything. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, this guy, he basically said, he thinks October could be the top. October was the top. He basically came out and said, that last year was 2019. It played out exactly like 2019. I mean, almost exactly. He is saying that, this year is going to play out very similar to 2020. And if you remember, 2020 was good, but it did take until the summertime and till the end of the year. Remember, Bitcoin was, sideways pretty much the entire year up until December. And then it really started taking off, and then Ethereum took off that following January. So, he's kind of saying, he's thinking 2027 will be the year of extreme euphoria. But I don't know. I don't even know what to think right now. He's been somebody you cannot call him wrong until he is proven wrong. So I'm hoping he's proven wrong, and we do take off like a rocket this year and continue with this right now. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. We're going to be talking about, with Bitcoin going up, where are the sectors that you guys can potentially find opportunity, right? We're going to be looking into a lot of opportunity plays this year. That's going to be like the year, the entire show year, right? It's going to be finding opportunity in the market every single day. We're going to be trying to find opportunities to do well in this market. So we got a lot to go over, a lot going on today. So without further ado, let's get the show started. Bring on my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, man? How you doing today? How was your weekend? How you feeling?
Weekend was good. Just locked in, right? Locked in and trying to build something and just having fun with trying to be innovative, right? Learning these AI tools, and excited about 2026 because I do believe it's going to be the year of innovation. I truly believe that. I did say last week that crypto Twitter would probably have early celebrations, and you said maybe not. I think it's the opposite. It seems like they are celebrating Bitcoin's price action right now. But I would say don't get too far ahead of yourself, and we're going to go over a little bit of that during the price action because we're going to zoom out a bit.
Yeah, 100%. I'm actually so glad you said that, because I came up to this tweet this morning. I wasn't sure if I was going to show it in the show, but I think it's a perfect segue. OX Jeff, he's somebody I've been following. He says state of CT right now, vibe coding with Claude. Like that is 100% CT vibe coding. A lot of people are using Claude. I like Gemini, but it's a conversation another day. X402 and ERC 8004, two huge topics right now. ICO, and then you have like on-chain activities is coming back with a question mark. Ownership coins, how, where to farm perps. Vibe coding with Claude again. He has in here. Polymarket API is now free. This has been something a lot of people who are vibe coding with Claude are doing now. They're kind of setting up these different types of, trying to find advantages in those markets. Meme coins, vibe coding with Claude again, and then the president of Venezuela, the former president of Venezuela, memes. So is that kind of what you're saying as well?
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, people seem to be just excited about being able to get into these tools, and the tools have been there. It's just, I feel like I don't know what it was. It was like towards the end of the year, people were looking, like reaching for different things, and people are now navigating to these tools that can really expand your skill set, right? And when I say skill set, I mean communication, because that's what it comes down to. Like, can you communicate properly and efficiently to utilize these tools to build something cool? And that's something that you can practice and get better at. I'm realizing that, right? The meme coin stuff with Marudo, is it Marudo? Maduro.
Maduro,
Yeah, one way or the other. Little tongue twister there, but yeah, definitely see that in the meme coin sector, and energy coming back. Not necessarily one going absolutely nuts. Obviously, white whale is hanging around 50 to 70 million. Is a pretty big range, but once that first meme coin really takes off, passes 100 million, I think we'll know that like the trenches are kind of back, the energy's there.
Yeah, I think that's what we're all kind of waiting for some real big booms, right? Right now we're getting this little bit of everyone kind of peeking their head out a little bit. You know what I mean? I picture it like Fallout. Everyone's kind of coming out of their little shelters, right? They're like looking around and kind of saying, okay. And now more and more people are coming out and coming out. We're kind of seeing that everyone's apparently was head down building with Claude. So let me ask you this, right? With the amount of people that are vibe coding, are we about to see an inflow of utility coins, almost like meme coins, in the sense of everyone has a project, hundreds of new projects that are coming out, forks of this, forks of that, new utility scams? Are we about to potentially see a wave of Ponzi schemes about to hit the market now?
Probably. A big deal about these tools is that you're able to put your ideas to product, right? And I think as much as you mentioned kind of these Ponzi schemes and these tomfoolery and things like that, I think on the flip side, we're going to probably see the most innovation, I think, ever this year, because people are realizing how powerful these tool sets are, which combinations to use, what to go after. So things are going to get easier to do, like to put your ideas out there, but it's going to get more competitive. But I think we're going to enjoy the easy wins initially. But then it gets tightened, I think, in next year and the years after, because this is going to be the new way of doing things.
Yeah, 100%. And Thread Guy came out and he basically said, he was like, everyone's coding with Claude right now, but no one's putting out a Ponzi that goes to 100 million to $1 billion, right? And when do you think we see that? When do we think we see the first the first ohm? Or like the first snowflake, what is it called? All those
Snowball. Long time ago. Tomb.
Well, Tomb forks. Yeah, like when do we see that type of stuff happening again? Or do you maybe not? Maybe this time we don't see that as much, and we see products popping out that but where are the users at? That's my question. We're gonna have more products than users in about a month.
Well, they're using really intelligent AI models now, so they can come up with intricate ways to Ponzi-fy something, right? So to the average person, it could look really intriguing.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be some creative products that come out like that. At the end of the day, and anything that involves money is a Ponzi. I mean, you look at any currency, right? It's always like print more, it's being held up by debt and all these things, right? So you could have an argument saying that, what's the difference between something that's just being constantly propped back up or supported versus something that wasn't like the 2021 Ponzi DeFi era, right? So now the stuff that will probably come out is going to seem a lot more intricate, a lot more cool, because you have AI models to help you think of it.
No, yeah, I agree. Yeah, 100%. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be very interesting the next couple of weeks. But let's jump into our main topic of today, which is the crypto sectors could explode in 2026. Momentum is building fast. Don't miss this. So, what do you think, man? What's going on? Where is the opportunity lying right now?
So we already kind of hit on RWA last week, but we got to hit on that again, just because it's a sector that the institutions are going to really try to build up and push and make look pretty. Now, it's never going to be sexy to crypto natives or Web3 natives, but it would be attractive to people that have portfolios in TradFi, or something, the slower paced long-term people that are in the TradFi sector. So I think that it does continually gain strength this year, and there's going to be opportunity there for people that are okay with that. The people that are okay with holding Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe Solana, BNB only, that's going to be attractive to them, because they'll look at it as a risk on, because it's newer, but it's also a safer risk on, right? So I think that that's going to definitely thrive, and you can really dive into some of these projects that their tokens have gone up quietly over the past 12 months, right? Now, so that's one sector. Another sector that is a part of infrastructure that I felt like was really hyped up, and the space needed the hype for that week or so, was the X402 stuff. But I think I know that there's real substance to that, right? So if you're going to attach this process, by the way, that came out whenever the internet came out, it was just an error, just because the micropayments didn't make sense. They were just never used, because with credit card fees and stuff, it didn't make sense. Now it does, because crypto, you can really shave that down really low. We're going to start seeing these X402, 402 companies that come out and provide the service for really brandable AI agents and bots and things that have services that they want to attach these micropayments to, right? So an example of that would be Shizzy Agent, right? He's really good at sports betting. He's getting all the data for sports betting. For his football calls, every football call you pay 0.001 Solana, right? So if you use this prompt, this prompt that's in this group, then that's how that would be utilized, right? So the infrastructure layer, I think it's going to eventually we'll see who the big winners will be, but that's probably down the line. But a lot of people are going to take stabs at it and things like that. Now, the other side of it is the AI agent part. The AI agent part got really pushed down in the second half of 2025, and rightfully so. I don't know. I don't think so. I think AI agents definitely have so much potential and use case. So for where it was in crypto, maybe it was okay. Let's be quiet about this until it gets more relevant. And I think that becomes this year, because you're going to be using a lot of branding strategies and techniques with custom agents, and I think there's going to be a lot more agents that are attached to people, like like what I mean, like Thread Guy can have his own agent that like he's really promoting and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know exactly how it's going to look, so that's another space too. I'm curious what like areas you're thinking.
Yeah. I think we differ a little bit in RWA stuff. I took a lot of your points to and kind of looking at that and just kind of looking. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of stuff, but the Clarity Act is really going to smack down a lot of these RWA projects that can't get licensed, right? So I was looking at there's only probably like 6 or 7.
It's going to be monopolized eventually, right? In a sense.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is like the little guy's not going to have a shot at RWA. They're not. It's just
or acquisition. You know what I mean?
Well, like, they can get, but then your coin's useless, right? If BlackRock comes in and buys one of these, they're gonna be like, yeah, fuck the coin. We don't want that coin. You know what I mean? So they're gonna be like, sorry guys, like coin didn't work, So
but why not Ondo? You know, I mean, that for the person that doesn't have the shizzy mindset necessarily, someone that is okay with the slower pace, and maybe they get a 10x over the next 2 years, right, or something like that. That's a safe play as well. When it comes to capital, total capital that's going to be in that sector, TVL, I think it's going to be a leader. But that's going
Yeah,
to be because of BlackRock's, because of JP Morgan's, because of those institutional companies that are going to be pushing that.
and I think you're right there, but like to find opportunity in low caps, right? I think that's kind of what we're all here for, right? Finding
Well, I think
opportunity
that
in
the
stuff
space is
that,
changing. You said it yourself, you
well, no,
know,
it is, but we still want to
last
find
year.
something that's like 4 or 5 million and goes to 50 million to 100 million. We still, yeah, we want to like,
10x.
overweight our, yeah, we want to overweight our, our stuff or whatever, but I don't think Ondo 10x's. I mean, I
I
can
mean,
see it
there's
like
some
3,
people that
4x for sure. But like, you know what I
mm,
mean? Like I just don't think those gains are why we're here. Like if you want to hear, just go buy Nvidia. Like in the next 4 years, it'll do 3, 4x, like just like probably Ondo will. So for me, it's about finding these low cappers that could go to $1 billion, right? I mean, that's kind of what we're all looking for, right? Like the opportunity to make, lots of money. And it is nice. I think you should definitely get into some of these large caps like Ondo and stuff like that. But when we're looking for opportunity, the opportunity, in my opinion, is in 402 because it's a sector that hasn't been tapped yet. There is no big winner yet, you know?
yeah, and we're gonna see how the big boys try to react to that, because one thing about American capitalism is, unfortunately, you know, when there's a new innovative period, these companies that are smaller, they start and they end up getting paid fat because they're the innovators of it. But a lot of times they get acquired. Now, some of them, you know, they kind of get selected as the winner by institutions like BlackRock and stuff like that. But you got to have a lot of momentum and a lot of strength in your product to get picked, like to be the next Google or the next Apple or the next, well, Apple isn't really the best case because they started in the 80s, right? But if you're talking about like the Googles, the you know, social media companies, the Facebooks, these type of companies, they were kind of, I guess, like agreed upon by these huge fund managers that they are the winners of the sector. These are the winners. And then you have some companies that came in and tried to acquire some of these newer companies and turn them into that. So those are two situations that will happen. Either way, I think hard work pays off this year for people
Yeah.
that do try to be innovative. Either you sell your product or you become a big winner and stay
Yeah,
the
100%.
owner.
But like, could you imagine right now, like vibe coding an RWA product and then the Clarity Act comes out and you're like, by law, I can get arrested for putting this out. Right. So I think that's kind of scary. Right. Like I think the Clarity Act, waiting for the Clarity Act right
I
now.
don't
I think
think,
you can
yeah.
build the next 402 project, no problem. You have nothing to worry about. Building something that you have to tokenize and actually they're going to give you the rules on how you can hold the assets, because you got to remember it's 1-to-1, like how you can hold those assets, and if it has to be in a bank or it has to be somewhere else, like you, I mean, you could work for weeks and weeks and months and then your product not be able to hit the market legally.
So I think you can get push back in any infrastructure type of product. X402, you know,
Yeah,
RWA, people aren't going to go into RWA, you know, as quickly as something as X402, because RWA is, you know, it's connected to traditional assets in a sense, right?
third
You're
party
token,
trust
yeah,
too.
you're tokenizing these assets. So you got to have a lot of experience in fund management type of experience, right?
Mhm.
And so I think the people that are in RWA, they know what that, you know, it
Yeah,
entails, right? Now, the X402 people, where I think that they could get pushed back, would be like the money processing sector of Web 2. And we saw that with the predictions markets getting pushed back by traditional, you know, Vegas and all these things. So, you know, the last thing that these TradFi or traditional or Web 2 companies that have been winning this entire time are going to do is just give up easily. So, you know, in the payment processing area, you know, there's huge companies out there like Global Payments. That's a huge corporation that processes credit cards. They're getting into digital, you know, currency processing. One of my friends actually works for the corporation. They're actually headquartered here in DFW, but they're, you know, companies like that, they're already probably looking into, you know, 402 X402, and they're going to try to make sure that they can position themselves to you know, be leaders in that space. So,
yeah.
but I don't think that that should discourage people from trying to build stuff, because, you know, you still
Well,
can build a really good product and make, you know,
Look,
be successful from it.
Look what happened when Meta decided to go into like the whole big metaverse, right? I mean, everything in metaverse exploded. What happens when Stripe says, okay, we've tokenized the stable coins, we have this running good, now we're going to get into X402 payments. All the X402 is going to go fucking ballistic. It's going to go to the moon.
Yeah, but
right?
metaverse also crashed really hard.
I'm not saying X402 is not going to crash hard. Like, that's my thing, right?
It shouldn't,
my
though.
whole philosophy is really, I mean, you're going to see a lot of, like, so that's what happened too. You got a lot of the project with fluff. They all flew up and then they all kind of dropped down. But on all the real metaverse stuff really never came into working environment. What happens if XR402 actually becomes day-to-day payment processing that is globally like looked at? You might see a lot of these companies right now sitting at $3-4 million market cap or even lower being, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars because Stripe's infrastructure now supports X402 and they can work together.
Yeah, and I think X402 and 402 are comparing that to metaverse is probably not the best example, because I think, you know,
I was really comparing, you know, the adoption of Facebook and the adoption of potential Stripe. That's very similar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but so the adoption of metaverse was the idea of it, of virtual reality and this whole other world. But with X402, it's practical, right? It makes life better and easier in these things from the idea of it, right?
Metaverse was supposed to be too. It was supposed to be going to this world and have meetings.
I feel like metaverse was more of a
it was exactly what you just said. It was practical. Everyone's seen it as the future of meetings at the time. But we know now that it wasn't.
One is a payment. Like, one is literally like a payment processing, I guess a new process to process payments in a sense, right? And something that we've been doing, but it's just changing it to make it cheaper and to make it quicker or more convenient. The other one is like more of this kind of fantasy that kind of connects with reality type of situation, which I still think it's going to be something, but it's further out, which I think X402 is more like you can almost grab it. It's like, you know what I'm saying? So that's where I think the main difference in those two sectors are. Regardless, I mean, I think one of your main points was, you know, if there is a strong brand that tries to push it, then that's how a narrative gets started.
Exactly my point. 100%. All right, let's get into some comments before we get into the Bitcoin price action here. We got the Blazing Bandit. He said, "What's up, everyone? My guy, Ryan. Really appreciate you, man. Thank you for hanging with us this year." Erdrix Grave says, "Is there a no-kill shelter for my Billy Cat?" Sorry, bro. Your Billy Cat.
I got about 30 of them, and I'm taking care of them. I'm losing money on feeding them. I'm just kidding.
Blazing Bandit said, "Did Trump confiscate Madero's 600,000 Bitcoin?" He has 600,000 Bitcoin. It's news to me. Blazing Bandit says Bitcoin at 94K. We're starting to pump. What's up? Yeah, well, I guess we're about to fund on the price action. Blazing Bandit says, "What's up? XRP Army 217 and pumping." It is nice to see the greatest meme coin of all time up at 217. I'm not gonna lie. Myself says, "Feels good to see some green. Hopefully we see more of it." Yeah, as long as Benjamin Cohen isn't right. Blazing Bandit says, "Right, I agree." Gladstopper says, "I wonder when the rug gets pulled." Yeah,
he's talking about the price action.
Yeah, probably. Benjamin Cohen says 99K. That's his prediction. He says we're going to get close to that 100 and then go back down to 70. Blaze Bandit says Wall Street is now in. We will have a big boom, but not that 80% drop after, because we're about to build our institutional floor. That's bigger picture. The boom will be
I like
big.
it.
I love it, man. Hodl tight generational wealth is now in sight. Love Ryan, man. Love you. We got Patty Poo, Bitcoin Machine himself. Glasshopper. Guys, thank you so much for the comments. Keep throwing those comments in, guys. You guys don't understand. It really helps the algorithm bring people in here. So if you guys wouldn't mind liking that, and make sure you guys put the comments in here. Ask us anything. This show is about you guys. Ask us anything. We're here for you guys. But let's kind of jump 100%. Let's get into the next thing here, which is I forgot I moved it to the top. The crypto price action and crypto bubbles. Let's get it.
Let's get it. But before we get into the price action, guys, help us out on the YouTube side. Smash that like for us. Subscribe to the channel. All that great stuff that you guys help us out with every single day, and we appreciate you for it. Turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern. And then shout out to the X people out there. If you're watching from X, share the space, educate people, bring more people into the space. That's is the overall goal, collective goal. And then shout out to Abstract Crew, Pump Streams, and Zora. We put a post out about Zora, so go read it on our On-Chain Revolution X account. And we are going to have a guest on at 12 p.m. Eastern, the guys from Pyro that are changing the game with creator capital markets. I always got to remember that. Creator capital markets. Yeah. So it's something that 2026, a lot of people are expecting that to be a big boom, including us. And we think there's so much potential there, but we appreciate each and every one of you guys. We're going to jump into some Bitcoin as always, starting off here with the hour chart. And it is looking good. I have to say, I feel like the start of the week has been really looking strong, and there's a lot of stuff that's kind of like, a lot of people feel good about the direction of the US. Some people are not so crazy about it, but I think more than not are starting to feel pretty, positive and optimistic about 2026 and where we're heading. Does seem like economically we're going to be, recovering and looking strong. The markets were pretty good in 2025, except for ours, but we believe that's going to change this year. All right, let's take a look here at Bitcoin on the hour chart. We are seeing an extension here on the MACD. So the momentum is carrying, and we are seeing that fast line kind of start to point up. So that's a good sign. Also, the RSI bounced off of this 25-point mark here and is heading back to overbought, which is good. You want to see that. We want to hang out up here for a while, though. So that is the goal. We're sitting at 93,800 is kind of where we are right now. So the momentum's telling us that we are most likely going to chop with a little bit more upside, right? So as how I'm feeling with this energy here for the next 2, 4, 6 hours on the hour chart. And for those that are new, when we do price action, it's just very high level. We just try to get a pulse of where Bitcoin and the crypto market's going. It's not in-depth TA. That's something that you guys definitely can dive deeper in, but it's just more of a feel of where we are headed. And the 4-hour chart is telling us, hey, I think the 1-hour chart is correct here. So we have an extension as well here on the 4-hour chart on the MACD. We have been up here a bit on the 4-hour chart in terms of overbought territory. So that does concern me a little bit. But, I feel like we are just kind of getting started. You can see here, this has been really an uptick going back to last Wednesday. Right. So this uptick here looks pretty strong. It looks, we got out of the choppiness. So whenever I see something like this, it makes me feel like, okay, are we going to have a leg breakout, to kind of break out of this choppy zone? So we're going to know soon, though. This is good because we are in this kind of local high area that we haven't been able to get out of, which has been that $94,000 mark. We haven't really gotten, we weren't higher, we basically have been below 94,000 since November 17th, it looks like. Goodness gracious, that's a long time. That's crazy. But finally some momentum. It looks like we have an opportunity to bust out here. So what I need to see is a continuation here. A really strong push up to give us another level, because we need to see that. And where would that next kind of resistance hit? Probably around this area here, 96,000. So that's the next area that you want to see us pass through. And so that is Bitcoin on the 4-hour. 1 hour looks good right now, right? So, but just, wait here a second, because I don't have only good news here. The daily is looking great, man. This extension looks amazing on the daily chart. I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green candles in a row. Now, people might say, well, that's too many in a row. It's like roulette, right? You roll black 6 times in a row, you're probably going to start betting red. Well, I think whenever you're trying to break out into a new level, that changes a bit, right? So we're going to get some more information after, I would say, the next couple days will let us know, hey, are we just kind of, getting to this local high and then getting teased and breaking back down? But at least we're going to know pretty quickly, because we're here right now. So this is the daily looking pretty good here. Okay, so this is where so this is a little tricky for me here, because I feel like the daily obviously looked good. I just show you guys that. Now the weekly, this is where it can go one way or the other, where we can get tricked out a bit here. Now the setup looks good. It looks great. In fact, we look like we want to finish up this massive sell pressure that we had on the weekly chart for Bitcoin. You see the fast line curling up there. You see the stochastics just crossing back over the 20 point mark here. Looks like it wants to head back to, the territory of up, right? And then you see the price action as well, so everything, you got 3 of 3 here. So the setup looks good here. The chart that I'm worried about is the next one, and it's the monthly, but you could always zoom out and find something you don't like though, right? So just remember that. But if you look at the weekly, the 4 hour, the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, the hour, those all look good. Usually when you have like a 4 for 4 looks pretty good. The monthly though, the part that worries me a little bit, and this is not something that necessarily we'd see in the next couple weeks even, but maybe, in February we could see a continuation of this, right? So for us to kind of break this down and have a short sell pressure session on the monthly chart, you would have to really have an aggressive push up within the month of January. I'm talking about getting back to 105, 105, 110, something like that would start to break this down. And then we could see something like February having our last like red candle. It'd be white probably, or something like that, right? Now, if that doesn't happen and we're just like going back and forth between 100K or like 100K and like 90,000, we could have a continuation in February, right? So I think that's probably what Benjamin Cohen's talking about in terms of, hey, don't count your chickens just yet before they hatch, right? So I would say for the next 2 weeks, I feel pretty good of where, what the data is telling me. But beyond that, beyond those 2 weeks, I would say, don't get too far ahead of yourself yet. I'm focused less on the price action, more on the innovation sectors, and more on how can I, better myself in the space. What can I contribute to the space in a positive, and not get so caught up on the price action, because I think 2026 takes care of itself. But we might have a little bit of bumpiness in Q1 in different parts. So that's where we are with Bitcoin. Check over on Ethereum really quick. Ethereum does typically, follow Bitcoin until it says it's ready to branch off, and hey, maybe we get some alts going. If we look here on the hour chart, Ethereum does look like it wants to start to have some buy pressure. It's a little weak here for the hour, so it's definitely behind Bitcoin here. Looking at the 4 hour, doesn't look extended beautifully like Bitcoin, but it did have more of a push up before Bitcoin had this nice run up. So I feel like it's kind of just chilling right now. Okay, where does Bitcoin want to go? Makes sense though. If you remember 2025, a lot of times when Bitcoin was getting aggressive, like pretty strong aggressive, Ethereum would chill for a bit, saying, okay, what's happening here? So that's where ETH is on the 4 hour as well. Let's take a look at the daily, and then we'll move to the crypto bubbles. The daily looks beautiful though. It looks beautiful. We are, pretty far above 3,000, almost to that $3,200 mark. We're sitting at 3,181. We did make it out of the do nothing zone finally. We crawled out of there. But we are just kind of sit and wait, I feel like right now. There's a lot of bullish news about Ethereum with smart contract volume increasing, these type of things. And I feel like it's a little intentional, right? Trying to get people excited about it. But again, when Bitcoin gets aggressive, people kind of wait and see what Bitcoin, the king, really wants to do. So that's Bitcoin and Ethereum. Feeling pretty good about this week for both of those assets. Obviously, that can change at a drop of a hat if some headline comes through, but that's how I feel about it right now. And then we got the crypto bubbles, which is going to give us a little bit of an insight for the altcoin market, right? So if we're looking at the top 100, Lit Protocol is getting lit consistently. It's up 16.2%. That continuation, good for those guys. Those guys definitely been working hard. Go ahead.
Infrastructure play.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Interoperability.
Interoperability, infrastructure. I that wasn't on my bingo card for this year, but it's happening. Chainlink too. Chainlink's up, I think, today as well.
Yeah,
only at 1% so far this year.
It's something that Emblem Vault's been betting on for a long, long time, right? And I feel like, when they say you can be too early, I feel like they were a bit for the interoperability side, but now, things are, so it's stick to your convictions, I think, is the story, the lesson there. So we got Stacks that's in the news here, or at least the price action. Stacks is up 8% here. Render up 15%.
I use Render now.
Well, there you go. Yeah. There you go. You use Render. You want to explain to the audience what are you using that for?
Yeah, I'm creating a backend to the project I'm creating, and I needed to have a facilitator for what I'm doing, and Render is amazing backend creator.
Yep. That should give you guys some insight of 2026. Shizzy building stuff. I'm trying to build stuff as well. I think that's going to be the theme this year. Building, which is a breath of fresh air, right? Builder, like more people are going to be building things. That's amazing. So, all right, let's take a look here. Mix pulling back, which is I still need to dive deep into it. Use their platform. Maybe Mix is a perpetual leverage DEX that lives on Binance Smart Chain, but also I believe on Base as well. Maybe another EVM. Not one of the big sexy brands, but they are consistently in the top 100 though. So, but they've pulled back 14% here. Filecoin up 6%. You're seeing Shiba Inu up 10%. So some of the memes that was hitting pretty hard on Friday, they pulled back, and some of these utilities are popping up, which that's normal, right? You see Aerodrome up 4% here, Flare up 4.3, Willfi up 1.7. Some stuff that's pulled back though. Some of the memes you see SPX down about 4% there, Bonk down 2.5%, Story Protocol pulling back 3%, Dash pulling back 2.6%, along with Zcash. So privacy getting pulled back a little bit, not too much, 3%. I think privacy is still going to have a big run up this year at certain points. But that is what we are seeing, guys, in the top 100, with Tau pulling back 1.4%. Let's take a quick peek see in the top 200. Pippin, an AI meme coin, pulling back 26%. Fartcoin up 4.4%. Always good when Fartcoin is green, right? You got River up 60%. XPL pulling back 6% there. IMX pulling back almost 1.5% there. So all in all, the altcoin market looks pretty good. It's a little mixed bag here, but for the most part, looks pretty strong. I do think right now people are looking to Bitcoin. Hey, where do you want to do? Is this a serious takeoff moment? If so, maybe we need to pour into you a little bit. So I think that's where we are in terms of the move right now. People are looking at Bitcoin. Is it going to get aggressive? Is it time to kind of get back in, let it get to 105, then sell down into ETH or some other coins here? And we're talking about really, large whales, some of the institutions and stuff thinking that way, I think. But yeah, that's what we got, guys. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the alt market for you guys in a boat.
Yeah, so I watched the Benjamin Cohen video. I'm not sure if you've seen it yet. But he basically said that, this was all expected, this pump going into this year. And he's thinking around like the 20th, we're going to hit a 99,000. We might touch 101, he said, but pretty much going to be a higher low. Looking at the charts, looking at everything that you just seen, do you see a potential for a higher low and potentially us getting wrecked here one last time?
That monthly chart that I showed you, that makes me, that's why I said for the next 2 weeks, I feel pretty good. But that
Benjamin Cohen's thing, the 20th.
Yeah. And so that monthly chart is the one thing that sticks out. But again, if the monthly chart was pretty, then I could go to the yearly chart and then find something. You can always find something, right? But to have 4 of the time frames kind of align to some bullishness, and I know that people that are listening in, and some of you chartists, don't come after me and try to kill me here, but the hour chart, obviously they'll say, well, that's obviously too short of a time frame, but you gotta start somewhere, right? And I think starting at the hour chart is okay. And if you're matching and aligning those different time frames and they're lining up, then I think you can at least feel decent about what those 4 or however many that are aligning, what data that they're telling you for, if that's short term or whatever. And for me, it's telling me, for the short term, for the near term, we're gonna feel pretty good about Bitcoin's price action.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. Not financial.
No, I mean, but that Benjamin Cohen said the same thing. We're gonna feel really good the next 15 days about Bitcoin's price action until we no longer feel good about Bitcoin's price action and we start taking it back down. What could you see that though? Could you see one final push down before we call it bottom, maybe hitting 75 before, or does that kind of out the window for you? mentally?
Nothing's out the window for me mentally after 2025.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm not so hyper focused on it.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And I think a lot of people in our space that are in it every single day, that care about the space, that care about their mental health, aren't going to, constantly have their day dictated on, Bitcoin's price action, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is going to be it's a maturing of our space for 2026. Do I think we're going to have some great price action for Bitcoin in 2026? Absolutely. Do I think we're going to have some surprise dumps? Absolutely. But more than anything, I think we're going to have great innovation. I think we're going to have a more cohesive overall space, overall community. I think we heal in 2026 from the past. No more looking back, a healing year, a maturing year, and some great things happen.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for 100%. My boy Ryan's ready for it too. He said the pump is starting. What's up? Appreciate that, Ryan, dude. You are single-handedly keeping our gold check mark on X. we really appreciate you. Not just playing, but absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, man. Blaze Bandit says, here we go. Pump it up. Thank you guys so much. And myself says this can buy cheaper crude. The US can buy cheaper crude oil now. That's one thing, dude. Inflation, right? Inflation is about to drop because the prices of moving goods from place to place is about to drop potentially in half. I mean, we might see oil down at $1.20 right now. It's about I think I saw it at like 218 or something. Yeah, crude oil or gas, right? I think oil is going to be dropping so much in the next potential couple weeks. Where it did have a pump this morning, which was weird. But it is, I think, going to keep dropping and dropping and dropping there. But yeah, 100%. For sure. All right. Let's kind of get into this first. So we do have CCP or consumer price action next week. So I'm gonna take a look at the market calendar here.
I was like, Chinese Communist Party.
I totally messed that up. It should be next Thursday. Why am I having a fart with this? A CPI. Let me actually change that.
I was like, what? Chinese Communist Party is coming.
Yeah, Chinese Communist Party. This CPI. That was a blunder by me, guys. But CPI is next Tuesday, which is really good. Core CPI. Then we got PPI next Wednesday. Tomorrow. Next week is a very, very big week because we do know that at the end of this month we do have Jerome Powell speaking and potentially keeping rates the same. That's kind of what everyone's thinking. But these data points next week, be prepared for. So if you are trading the market, this could be where things get bad. If we go in and inflation is higher year over year than it was last year, potentially you might see markets drop. So we might pump into the 14th and 15th here. And then potentially dump going into Powell speak. So this is something to keep in mind when you're thinking about the price action right now. Next week is a big week for data points. All right, let's get into some good news here. Some DAT news. We have Strategy has acquired 1,287 Bitcoin, now holds 673,783 Bitcoin. They have acquired $62 million through common stock, ATM, and now hold $2.25 billion in their reserve. Strategy, the company that keeps on buying another 62 million. It's not like they're 900 million last week, but 62 million is good. They just buy to buy at this point.
Buying to buy. It keeps the people quiet and at bay. Why aren't you buying?
Yeah.
Okay, here's
do they need to buy? Like, if they didn't buy it for a month, would that concern you?
Not me, but some people.
Yeah. Well, if you held the stock, would it concern you if you held the stock?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I would feel if I held the stock because right now I feel like that relationship isn't probably the best, in terms of like shareholders. I mean, like, because but the whole situation is them getting paid, their stipend or whatever they get paid, or the people that are part of that whole, strategy of being able to buy more Bitcoin, right? But 62 million, I think this is a buy just to buy. I think this is just to say, keep people quiet, keep people at bay. It's just a buy.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense. But then Tom Lee said, hold my beer. Tom Lee, Bitmine version, announced that he added 32,000 Ethereum last week, bringing the crypto and cash holdings to about 14.2 billion. We know Strategy owns about 72 billion worth of Bitcoin, and Bitmine owns about 14 billion worth of Ethereum here. The company now holds 4.1 million ETH, which is crazy to think about. They own 3.4% of the entire Ethereum supply. So think about that. If you own 3% of the supply and you're getting 6% return, if you're staking all of it, these guys, $14 billion. What's 6% of 14 billion? It's got to be something astronomical.
A lot.
Like, for sure. So
that's annually,
that's
right?
That's annually they're getting, and they're getting paid in ETH. So ETH goes up, they get paid.
Wait, let me. How much is it? 16 billion?
It's
No,
14.2 billion and 6%.
$14.2 billion is crazy.
Got a comment here. Ryan says, "See what Farcoin does to you." Great channel. I got you guys always. Appreciate you, Ryan, man. Well, Yagobi does some math for us here and shows us how much Bitmine is making annually if they stake all their ETH.
Yeah. So 852 million is what I got.
Damn. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's actually makes sense when you look at 14 billion and 800 million. So, damn, good for them. Good for them.
Yeah, it's a lot of moolah.
All right, let's kind of get into the next thing here. Solana meme coin launchpads see their strongest activity in 3 months across key metrics. I have a chart here. You know how I love my charts. So launchpad volume by source. So this is kind of what you're seeing here: DEX aggregator, trading platforms, mev bots, and direct. It does feel good though, because like as you can see, we haven't really seen anything since October. We are back up pre 1010, which is nice, right? Back up to here. We're not seeing much direct. I'm not really sure what direct means, but as you can see, last year direct was, I guess that means like direct buys was, more than half of the entire thing. So direct buys are just pinching back, but you saw none on the last 2 months. But this is eye opening for Solana meme trenchers, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. So what color is the trading platforms? On the
DEX
bar chart.
aggregators are blue, trading platforms are green.
Okay, so the direct buys are purple. Okay, I was trying to. I thought for some reason direct buys were. Yeah, I mean, who uses direct buys as much, right? I mean, but it's.
I don't know if it's direct buys now to think about it. Like, what could direct mean?
I mean, I was thinking direct means like you go to the Phantom wallet and you paste in the contract.
Wouldn't that be trading platforms though?
No, trading platforms is like Axiom,
gotcha.
Axiom, GMGN, what terminal?
Wouldn't that be DEX aggregators though? I think trading platforms.
Maybe the DEX aggregator. Maybe the DEX aggregator is actually swapping in Phantom. In Phantom. Because Phantom's pulling from somewhere. So I'm not quite sure what the direct would be. I guess
I gotta look into
it. Yeah, that's the one thing that I don't know. Obviously, it was huge, and now it's gone away. So I feel like if you're playing in that meme coin game, the Launchpad game, you're gonna feel like you have to use Axiom or Terminal or Phantom's Terminal or something to feel like you're competing. It might not even really help as much anymore because the way that the meme coin sector works, more than anything, at the people that if you want to have an advantage or compete at those levels, you're going to have some sort of customized, bots that really are, sniping and all that type of stuff outside of Axiom. Because you have to remember how many people use Axiom, right? How many people use GMGN? People that can snipe before the ticker's even out there. That's what I'm talking about, right? They use a customized bot that they created or something.
Yeah, for sure. So I got it broken down what it is. So DEX aggregator volume routed through tools like Jupiter, Radium aggregators that find the best swap routes. Trading platforms volume that occurs on structured launch platforms like Pump Fund, Moonshot, and Bird Eye. And then you have direct.
You're breaking up.
Direct is user transaction interacting straight with the token's launch contract. For example, is minting or buying directly. So minting, I guess, is what, buying on the launch pads?
I guess so. Minting, and then, but then they say, utilizing Pump Fund, structured launch platforms like Pump Fund and Moonshot. So is a trading platform. So I mean, I guess it's both, right? You can either mint there is the direct, and then buying is waiting till after mint. So there should always be some purple. So
yeah, for sure. Jason Sinkar says XCM looking good. Blaze Bandit says 754 to 1,000 total coins for scarcity and scalability. Check it out. Not sure what he means by that.
ETHB. What is
What
that
are
on?
you
Is that
shilling, brother?
is that on Solana?
I don't know. All right, let's move along though. So Polymarket and Parcl announced a partnership to launch real estate prediction markets powered by Parcel's housing price indices. So Parcl is one of the ones that I saw shooting up today, and I didn't know what it was, but it is an RWA project that basically is like an oracle for all these real estate houses. They basically do on-chain and off-chain data and stuff like that. So when I went to RWA earlier, I was like, what the hell is this Parcl? Why is it up 80%? This is why. They just did a deal with Polymarket. But Polymarket, you're about to be able to bet on your housing price. Like, if you know what I mean? How crazy is that? That you're going to be able to predict whether your housing price goes up or not. Real estate prediction markets are coming to Polymarket.
So could that be manipulated? Could
I
that be
mean, you could lose
manipulated?
money if you sold your house cheaper than that, and then you can make money. But
Yeah.
like,
Or
if I sold my house for 100K, everyone in this neighborhood would be like pissed because then their housing is down 50%, right, or
yeah.
75%, right? But then it's going to look like someone's gonna be like, oh well, this house dropped for this price, so I can't value at this price anymore, right? So in that aspect, right?
I
mean,
just
technically,
I feel like there's going to be at some point a regulating body that regulates. I feel like that sounds so dumb, but that regulates these prediction markets
Yeah.
for manipulation, right? I mean, we found out that like people like Chauncey Billups, that
Yeah.
were completely like manipulating the outcomes of games, NBA games, right? I mean, set the fans aside. That sucks for the fans,
Yeah.
number one. For number
Yeah.
two, if you're betting, you just got screwed over. We found out you just got screwed over. Now, when the manipulation comes into stuff like this, like, I mean, could there not be a group of people that go and vandalize stuff or go and bring the values down in certain areas and stuff like that? Now, I know it's a bit of a reach right now, but I'm just saying, predictions markets needs to have somebody overseeing it at least. Because I mean, like at the end of the day, it's all fun. I like to gamble. I like to do some sports betting and stuff like that. But I want it to be a fair shot. And you already got the house against you that takes the juice. Like, so if they get more, obviously the house isn't necessarily Polymarket here, but it's people that have large amounts of size and money that want to never lose.
100%. Yeah. No, I agree. I think you're right though. I think they're already working on it. I think that's already kind of in there too, right? Like people, I'm sure there's like laws and stuff where you can't do stuff like that, right? You can't just like purposely bring down the house of this neighborhood so you can go buy four properties like that. I'm sure there's laws already like that, right?
Probably,
like you can't
but
just like
it doesn't
force sell
happen.
these to your brother and then go and purchase a bunch of houses at those prices and then then you bring all the values back up. Like I'm sure there's rules and stuff, regulations for that stuff. So
Probably,
but
go ahead.
the collaboration will enable users to trade on future performances of regional property markets using Parcl on-chain real estate data. So kind of wraps that all up into a bow there. But China classifies RWA as illegal finance, warning both domestic and overseas operators that RWA is illegal finance in the country of China. What does that tell you?
CCP at work.
Yeah. Why do you think they did this?
Because RWA is a global thing once you tokenize it, right? So if
I can buy property in China without China knowing.
or yeah, I mean, and that's the one of the biggest things with the Chinese government is that, you know, at the end of the day, all the property's theirs.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, yes, you can own a house, but you know, if it needs to be pulled or something needs to
Well, just like the
happen,
US, they could come take your shit.
they could do
If
that
you
too.
own it.
Yeah. I guess, but it's more. I don't know. It's more questioned over there, maybe. Also, you know, if you think about RWA too, you know, if you think about like U.S. stocks and stuff, like if there's a lot of Chinese people buying U.S. stocks through crypto that helps elevate the value of the company, that's probably not in the best interest of China as well, right? So there's going to be some like jurisdiction stuff for sure for different countries that handle this. China is going to be one of the people that stand out first and foremost because they want to protect their national interest first. And I mean, that's just how they run the country, right? And I mean, that's how countries should be ran. You should protect the national interest first. And I'm not saying like, you know, the type of government that don't take that comment and go crazy with it, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so like with the US, we should be looking for our interest first in that asset. We want to have the RWA asset class globally as much as possible. So it's kind of the opposite of what they want, right? Because we want our companies' values to go up and all these things and our treasuries and all that stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see what that whole world looks like, what countries push back. We're starting to see a little bit of that now.
Yeah, for sure. Is this just the beginning? Are we about to see Russia and all the BRICS nations potentially come out and say, because the US is adopting this, you know, England and you know, Europe does feel like they are, you know, they're kind of like, okay, we'll go this way if we have to. They're not like enjoying the process, but they're doing it, but not as much as the US. US seems to be enjoying it. Like everyone in the US, every company, big company, is looking at this as innovation.
Yeah, obviously a chess game constantly going on between those three, the US, Russia, and China, right? I think the whole situation with the Venezuela, we all know pretty much that was a chess game that there was a massive move that happened recently with it. And you know, in terms of innovation of all this stuff, I think you're gonna get more than not that pour into it and that, you know, embrace it. The US is still the world leader in terms of influence, and people can say maybe they're not, and they're losing it. Well, at this point, I still believe that it's the case. I mean, you know, you still have people looking to what's the US going to do next? What's the next move? You know, the number one consumer market, right? That's still a thing right now until it's not. And so, because the US is pro digital assets and tries to push this narrative or this new sector industry, I think most are going to be on board with it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So, I mean, we're already kind of on the topic, but like you text me, you know, I think it was Friday or whenever that happened. Maybe it was Saturday morning, and you said, "Yo, there's a war." And then I looked at prices as soon as you said that because I was expecting to see red tanking, and I didn't see much red at all. Like, you know what I mean? So, why do you think? Right now, when we got these headlines of something like that, we didn't tank in markets.
Because I think it's different than what happened in 2022, right?
Okay.
As soon as that happened in 2022, I think people thought, "Oh, great, this is going to be drawn out. This is not going to be something that's short, unless you know, Russia." Everybody thought if it was going to be short, Russia was going to make it quick and short, and that was it. You know, this was very strategic. It was planned from the very beginning to be a short situation. I'm not going to take a stance on it on the show. But what I will say most likely is going to happen is that, you know, the US is going to benefit from oil. I mean, let's just be honest. That's a big, like, obvious, right? And that's money, right? And don't get it twisted. Like the other world leaders wanted that oil. It wasn't just like, you know, the US was the only one that was trying to get it, right? So economically, we seem to be like benefiting a lot from this, right? Second, or the first point was it's not a true war situation. It was a quick mission, and then that's that. You know, now I think it's just going to be, you know, political theatrics. You know what I mean? There's not going to be any physical stuff, in my opinion, unless it gets pushed further, which I don't really see that happening, because their country has the 50th strongest army in the world, against what's many considered the first strongest, right? So I mean, it just doesn't make sense in that aspect. So I think a lot of people, market participants, institutions and stuff think, oh, this is a net positive for sure for the US economy for 2026.
It makes you think, why didn't Putin just go and capture Zelensky in the night?
Well, you have to understand too, and again, don't want to get too deep into it, but you had if the country of Ukraine was cheering for that to happen, it would have been perceived by the world much differently. But the country of Ukraine wasn't, cheering for, Putin to come in and take the leader and all that stuff.
I gotcha.
The opposite situation was that. In fact, you have a lot of people that are left leaning that are Venezuelan that are now kind of like backing Trump and all this stuff, right? Or at least like
all the white people out yelling about it, and all the Venezuelans like, what are you guys doing? Like,
right. So again, without going down the deep hole here, I feel like you have to make it. He had to make it short and sweet, which he did. Yeah. The people that do market things see this as a big net positive for this year. Gotcha. I mean, that's what I get from it.
Did you send our guest a link or no?
I did. Okay, cool. Yep.
Cool.
They should be jumping on.
All right. And then we got some comments here again. Ryan says, hold tight, Generation Wealth. It's now in sight, dude. I believe you now, Ryan. Glasshopper says, I still hold my PRCL airdrop. Dude, why didn't you tell me about this? I would love to get this PRCL airdrop, bro. Man, I gotta start hanging out with Glasshopper more.
I know.
He said, everyone pay attention to the oil.
You should tell Glasshopper to join you in Arc Raiders.
I can't even play anymore. I'm too busy with this project. Like, my brother hit me up this weekend. He's like, yo, dude, how come you don't play anymore? And it's like, bro, like, trying to build this app.
I'm mature. I grew up, bro. I grew up.
You're in the last like 40 hours. I grew up. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, I guess I got some more topics we can get into. 2x Dogecoin ETF among the best performing ETFs to start 2026. Does that surprise you? 2x, meaning a leveraged Dogecoin ETF, is among the best performing ETFs to start 2026.
No, it doesn't surprise me too much, because I feel like Doge is like a lot stronger than people perceive it to be, just because of what happened in 2020 when it broke out into the scene, really, and then 2021, Elon supporting it even more. I feel like it just gave it that like legacy that it's not going anywhere, right? And it's funny because it's considered like it's the biggest meme coin still, but it's accepted into one of us in terms of the blue chips even now. So
yeah. And this could be why you're seeing Pepe run. You're seeing, yesterday when we were doing our members video, we were looking and we were like, this is insane. Like, it's frog themed coins are leading the week, and on top of that, it was whatever that was. What was that? The Brett and stuff. What are they considered? It's like the Friends or something.
Oh, the Boys Club.
Boys Club, yeah, the Boys Club.
We're both like, Fury.
What the hell's going on with this? Why are these like outperforming the entire market? But it's probably because of Dogecoin and Dogecoin's ETFs getting bought up. So you're kind of seeing, kind of trickle down into some of those memes. So that's really cool to see. I'm hoping this kind of does keep trickling down. So we do see maybe some launches on Solana again and start getting some excitement and people coming back to X. I think that's the biggest thing. People coming back and watching, content and stuff. And I think we need people back, and I'm excited for it for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's get into our next segment here. So over the course of the last month, I want to say we've been kind of talking to the guys over at Pyro.buzz, thanks to Jake from Emblem Vault. So Pyro recently did a migration, and in that migration, they migrated from, I know they went to Pump, but where'd they come from? Believe. And there was supposed to be big CCM narrative over there, but now we do know that the big CCM narrative is on Base and Solana. So that's kind of exciting, but we've been doing some cool stuff. Then their whole product right now is helping content creating markets, right? CCM. And what they're doing is, as you see on our screen right now, Pixel Games, a gaming company, you can win this banner. And what they do is they're burning our token on Zora right now. We were doing the pump, but the pump fund is not as fun as pump wants us to think, because the guys over there are just very good at what they do, manipulating stuff like that. So we've kind of pivoted recently to Zora, because we just see so much more of a potential CCM market over there, right? I mean, it just looks cool. It reminds me of Instagram. It's phenomenal. So we're going to be going 100% out for that token over there. Really excited to kind of partner with these guys. But what do you think?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. 2025 was an interesting year for ICM and CCM because, like you mentioned, the Believe Launchpad, which, by the way, I believe they launched their token on Pump Fund and then created their platform and all that stuff. But it just didn't come to fruition, right? They had the opportunity there, but then you basically had a lot of people that were building a business kind of left out a bit, right? So Migrate.fund was the solution, right? That was the pain point solver there. And then you had a project like Pyro that was able to migrate to Pump. And Pump is good. They're great. They actually have a liaison for CCM. I just think it depends on what the creator needs, right? Because I think Pump is a great platform for that. But Zora is more fit what we're looking for, right? But Pyro offers it for both platforms, right? So they migrated to Pump, and what they're trying to do is really create this. They've created this meta for CCM to make it work, because 2025 the puzzle pieces didn't quite fit, but the way they're doing it, I think it adds sustainability. So I'm excited to get Alex up here and really dive in a little bit to his past, see who he is, and then why did he decide to continue, and those type of questions.
Yeah, 100%. And like, real quick before we bring them up though, too, is like, I was just thinking about, the amount of projects that are about to come online, right? We're seeing everyone and their mom tweet about Claude and AI, Google, Gemini, about, how they're helping them code, and everyone's creating a project. I mean, even me, right? Everyone's creating a project right now. And what every project going to need is marketing, right? And I think Pyro really fills that need there. So you can have a lot of projects and not that many creators. The creators got wiped out over the last year. I mean, we stood the test of time here. What we're only like 9 of them left, of real shows, not just people turning on their phone and going live on TikTok, like real shows that put together and are out there. Most of them kind of went to the RIP, right? Maybe they'll come back, but who knows? But the ones that are here and still here, using something like Pyro could keep them alive and actually help them grow.
Yeah, I think it's a great option. You're not tied to one brand specifically. You get to kind of choose. So, yeah, I'm excited to learn more and let the audience here learn about Alex. So let's get him up.
Let's do it. Alex,
hey, good to be here, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, glad to have you, man. I feel like Pyro is really starting to get thrown into the timeline more and more that I'm seeing the timeline. But before we get into Pyro, because I'm excited to learn more and have our audience learn more, love to learn a little bit about you. You can go as far as you want in terms of your background leading up to Pyro, and then we'll get into Pyro afterwards.
Yeah, that sounds great. No, happy to be on here, and excited to talk about CCMs with you guys. So yeah, I'll share a quick background on me. I've been in the Web3 space now for quite some time. First got involved in around 2021, 2021, and initially in the Ethereum ecosystem. Of course, this was long before Solana was kind of the center of gravity that it is now. Before I was in Web3, I was actually a financial journalist. I worked for Reuters News, covering equity capital markets and M&A in the technology sector. So always had a really strong interest in the intersection of tech and finance. And once I got into Web3, there was sort of no going back. As I mentioned, was initially focused on Ethereum projects in the DeFi space. Did quite a bit of work there, but then around, I guess, 2024 and even more so in 2025, it really did start to feel like Solana was the place to be. And interestingly, my first foray into the Solana space was as a content creator myself. I had a live stream on Pump Fun starting in April. and really experimented with that. And it was through that I came to realize that this space still needs a lot of maturing. There was at the time zero mechanism for creator coins to develop meaningful sustainable value accrual, even if the streamer's really successful. They just traded as pure memes. And that, I think, is precisely why when we first saw that big CCM coin meta, I think it was in August of 2025, and we saw a lot of those early CCM coins running, they all ended up underperforming pretty drastically within a few weeks of that initial pump. So Pyro is, you guys kind of helped provide a really good overview of it, but we are the first Web3 native sponsorship marketplace for CCM streamers. And what makes us really unique, as you guys know, is that the sponsorship spend, so when brands spend to sponsor streams and have their brand promoted on those streams, it is used to buy and burn the live streamers' creator coins. So it is just a classic ICM style value accrual flywheel, but for creators, and any creator can use Pyro, get sponsors, and start generating value for their coins. So that's kind of the story of how I got here and the premise of Pyro.
Yeah, so I'm curious, did that idea come to you pretty quickly? Like, was it more of like you guys were racking your brains on like how you could create sustainability with CCM, and then you had this epiphany? How did the burning of the token and being like, hey, look, people are going to be interested in it, but that's short hype. The burning is longevity.
Yeah, exactly. And it was something that I don't know if it was an epiphany or if it kind of gradually dawned on me, but when I was in the trenches myself doing a daily live stream, I was talking about Solana meme coin trading in particular, and I was doing a daily stream like you guys, and it was really frustrating because no matter how much we scaled viewership and no matter who we brought onto the stream for interviews and so forth, after that initial run up in the token price, there was just nothing supporting it. And so it was really thinking about it from the perspective of a creator. What would make it possible for the success of the stream itself to translate into the performance of the token, that it became clear that we need some kind of on-chain mechanism where sponsor spend, because we did have some sponsors for my stream, but the sponsor spend has to be channeled on-chain into value accrual for the creator coin. And that was the missing link. And so it didn't exist at the time. So I partnered with our senior engineer, OX Italy, and also Alex Strassmore, who is helping us with ecosystem growth to found and build Pyro. And that's how we came to be where we are today.
Yeah, 100%. So to be a creator on Pyro or partner with you guys, what is the, I don't know, like what do you need? Like if I was just somebody watching a show and I do a show every Thursday night or something, what is the constraints around that?
Sure. So we are a permissionless platform. So at the most basic level, there's no constraints. If you are a creator, no matter how small, you can create a profile on Pyro. The real constraint isn't so much from us, but it's from sponsors, right? I mean, you can see, as you guys mentioned, you guys are Pyro creators and you have multiple sponsorships. I think we've had 3 or 4 since you joined just a couple weeks ago. So the real question, for creators on Pyro is, once you're on, how are you going to be able to position yourself to be attractive for sponsors? And that's where, it is a much, much higher bar. So, what you guys do and what we really need to see more of in the space in general is these sort of, daily, regular, very informed, sort of reviews of the space, of news, interviews with founders. Those are super attractive to sponsors, and there's simply not enough of them. We've also seen creators who specialize in live streaming their trading activities or, Web3 gambling, sports betting, prediction markets. Those are super popular, and you can develop really loyal niche audiences doing that. The other area as well is actually gaming. So people playing Arc Raiders and tournaments around Arc Raiders, live streaming that. There's really loyal, sticky audiences there. So the question is, can you find a niche where there is a strong demand, particularly from the CT audience ecosystem, because those are the people who really tune in right now to these Web3 streamers, and also are there sponsors who are really trying to reach those audiences? And if you can hit the sweet spot there, you can do phenomenally well on Pyro. I think you guys are a good example of that.
Yeah, so basically it goes back to the fundamentals of kind of the business supply and demand, really, in terms of your viewership, your attractiveness, what they're looking for in that. But I do love that you guys are permissionless. Anybody can start, and what they can do is set a baseline and say, hey, I need to, reach this many viewers and stuff like that. And by the way, if you're listening and you are a creator, don't give up because, you have a little viewership. I mean, like if we did that, we wouldn't be here right now because like we had ups and downs. It took for us forever to go. And so just, stick with it if that's your passion. Obviously, if you're not passionate about it, then it'll reflect, right? But with that being said, what's your 2026 kind of outlook for CCM? We saw Nick Shirley and then Thread Guy have this big kind of spiel about it, which I think it was warranted. Brian Armstrong comes back and then Nick Shirley's token skyrockets. And so what's your perspective on 2026 for CCM?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think we're in a really, really interesting place for people who are paying attention because, as you mentioned, the sort of crypto Twitter narrative around CCM has been overall sort of negative in sentiment. That changed a little bit just over the past couple weeks, as you mentioned, with Brian Armstrong and BaseApp really coming out and actively supporting some creators and seeing some positive price momentum with creator coins as a result of that. But overall, I don't think that crypto Twitter or sort of traders writ large appreciate yet how big of an opportunity this really is. And I think 2026 is the year that we're going to see the creator capital markets thesis fully play out. And part of that, in my view, does have to do with BaseApp. I think, as you guys mentioned, they've just really cracked the code towards making this an attractive user experience. It's a great app. If you're listening to this and you haven't checked it out already, you should download it and look around because it feels like you're on Instagram. It feels as smooth as a Web2 social media app, but every creator and every bit of content they produce is tokenized and tradable. So I think that now that we have a really attractive platform with huge names like Brian Armstrong, Jesse Pollock behind it, promoting it, we're going to start seeing more users, more activity, more trading, and more creators. And I think that the creator capital market space has reached the point where we're going to see more and more Web2 creators deciding, I'm going to migrate over, for example, to Base. It's I think much more legitimate. I think Nick Shirley really helped with that, and so I do think we're going to see an explosion of creator coins. And look, I mean, we built Pyro for a reason. We recognized, very early on, I think, that there needs to be some reason to buy and hold these coins beyond just the initial hype pump. Otherwise, they will all go to zero, just like meme coins over time. But Pyro solved that, and we work very closely with Pump, with Zora, with BaseApp. We're in communication with those core teams very actively. And we're going to make sure that that value accrual mechanism that we've built and that sponsorship marketplace is embedded into all of these different CCM platforms. And so that's going to give people a reason to, bet on creators early on who they think are going to become popular. And then the revenue from those creator sponsorships is going to propel the token upwards through the value accrual flywheel that we've built. And so I think if you look at those combination of things, really good platforms like BaseApp, way more creators coming on board, including well-known Web2 creators, and a sustainable value accrual mechanism, those are the ingredients to have a really, really hot meta. So I am very optimistic about 2026.
Yeah, I think a lot of people really are. So, and especially all the vibe coders, right? So that kind of gets into my next question. So, vibe coding has become very popular. We're about to see an influx of dApps that is going to be absolutely insane. I'm talking like probably tens of thousands of dApps hitting the market. How are you guys vetting them coming to you? How are you guys saying, okay, we think you guys are good enough for on-chain revolution. We think you guys are good enough for this person or this person, without them just being, pump and dump?
That's a great question. And so this is something that we're having to think about more and more as Pyro takes off, right? I think you guys probably recall it was last week, an app that was a really good and legitimate app. It was called Probability Exchange. They sponsored you guys, and the reach that sponsorship provided caused this project, which is, I believe, a one-man app, to go from less than 20K in market cap, it had a pump coin, to over 70K, and it bonded almost right away. So that shows how powerful these sponsorships are for the projects that are paying to get their banner up on the stream. And that did force us to kind of sit down and have some internal conversations, because although we are permissionless, we want to protect the credibility of our streamers like you guys. We want to protect Pyro. And so in practice, what happens is, pretty straightforward. We have a group of sort of top tier streamers. On-Chain Revolution is one of them. And for those sponsorships, we play a very active role in brokering them. We do vet the projects beforehand, and we do make sure that they align with, the values of the brand of the streamers that we're working with. And I think that over time, that's actually going to create a really, really powerful flywheel, because you can pay for reach. Every project pays to get themselves listed on Deck Screener, for example, to make them more accessible. But if you sponsor a streamer on Pyro, you're also really kind of getting a badge of legitimacy that Pyro thinks that you're a good and legitimate project. The streamers like On-Chain Revolution think the same thing. And that's just something that hasn't existed in this space, that kind of vetting and reach at scale. So I think that that's going to be a really, really powerful model that will account for why we're going to see a lot more sponsorship revenue flowing in through the Pyro platform, being pumped into these creator coins in 2026.
Yeah,
a great answer.
Yeah, I think that's a great strategy to have. I mean, you learn as you grow too, and you learn how to deal with situations as you grow. So right now, you guys obviously support Pump and Zora, but I have a feeling, Pyro is going to continually grow, and there's going to be more clients that come on. How will you determine which client is best for your other side, right? Like your streamer client base? Will you guys be involved with that? Will you leave it more up to them to pick, or what does that look like?
Sure. So you're talking more about the spot linking the right sponsors to streamers, or sort of thinking about
more of like the streamer picking the right platform, right?
Yeah,
because this is so new. We kind of ran into something to where we had to make a decision, and we put an announcement out there. So is that something that you guys are going to kind of leave up to the streamers solely, or give guidance on it, or what does that look like?
Great question. So look, ultimately, streamers are free to do whatever they think is best for themselves on Pyro. But do we provide advice, guidance, consulting? Absolutely. And the advice that I've been giving to a lot of streamers, not all of them, is that right now I think that the sort of Zora base app combination is the most attractive. That is especially true for streamers like you guys. I think that Pump Fund will continue to have a really strong niche with the trading centric streams. It just makes sense. The really active degen traders who want to watch people live streaming their trading are spending a lot of time on Pump Fund as is, and they tend to be Solana centric. So if you're that type of streamer, live streaming trading, Pump still may be the best choice for you. And we'll see where Pump goes, right? I mean, we like the Pump team, and I think they still have a lot of potential. So this thesis that I'm articulating could change. But right now, there's just no question that for, informational content, news style content, interviews, as well as anything that's sort of, outside of the scope of degen and, much more sort of normie focused, if you're that type of content creator, Pyro does actively recommend looking very, very closely at Zora and Base App. And I think that's only going to become more true going forward. Part of that is because we do work very closely with both the Zora and Base App teams. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for new creators through those apps. I think that they're committed to supporting the streamers that launch there. And we're also working on some pretty exciting integrations directly into the Base App ecosystem for our sponsorship flywheel. So that's something we haven't announced yet, although I can talk a little bit about it on this podcast. But those factors together, I think, make it a no-brainer for most of our streamers to look at Base App. And so that is a migration we are seeing happening right now.
Yeah, awesome. And I mean, you basically went into my next question, is I would love to dig into your roadmap. Like, what's next for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is super timely because it's January 5th. Everyone was away last week for the holiday and for New Year's, and now people are back. And so we have some very, very significant and exciting announcements teed up starting this week. We haven't shipped them yet, but I'll share what I can on some of these roadmap items. So I think the most exciting, it does pertain to Base App. We have some pretty ambitious plans for the role that we want to play in that ecosystem. You mentioned the Nick Shirley and sort of the discourse around Nick Shirley and other Base App creator coins. what I can say is that when it comes to recognizing the need for creator coins to be sustainable, to have value accrual built in, Base App gets it, and Pyro fully intends to bring its monetization engine, its sponsorship marketplace, and its flywheel for creator coins directly to the Base ecosystem. So we're in talks with some with Base App and with partners, within that space to directly embed Pyro's sponsorship toolkit into a Base App mini app, so that people who maybe discover you guys by scrolling through Base can say, hey, I want to be up on the banner, and right, without having to go to our browser app or leave the Base App ecosystem, they can just sponsor right there. So I think that that is going to be a huge focus, and I think it's going to massively open up our potential to help our creators scale, help them drive value for their creator coins, and put a lot more sponsorships in front of our community of creators.
Yeah, that excites me a ton for sure. I mean, yeah, definitely. I feel like you guys have the right relationships built there, and excited about that. But listening to all this, I'm putting myself in the shoes of an audience member right now. I want exposure to Pyro. How do I get exposure to you guys?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, Pyro has its own token, as you mentioned. We migrated. We initially launched on Believe because we thought at the time that was the logical home for ICM style tokens tied to real revenue generating projects. That didn't work out, unfortunately. So we've migrated over to Pump, which we still think for now is the best place for us to be, because they are on Solana, the center for creator capital markets, and Solana still feels like, for our own project token, the place to have us trade, because Solana is still the home of ICM tokens, which is what we are. So yeah, anyone can go find our Pyro token. We have been taking all of the revenue that we earn from our sponsorship marketplace. We take a 10% cut of every sponsorship, and we plow that into Pyro buybacks. So if you believe CCMs are going to take off in 2026, you think it's exciting that we're at the center of that and the only real monetization and value accrual mechanism for creator coins, yeah, we do have a token, so there is a way to get exposure.
Love it. And with, we do know that Coinbase actually just created a Solana bridge where you can bridge tokens from Solana to Base. Would you guys ever be open to maybe adding liquidity so we can trade your token as a Base token? I mean, in a roadmap somewhere.
100%. I think that is something that we will do. It's really just a question of prioritization. Our first goal, as I mentioned, is to make Pyro a very prominent presence directly within the Base app, and have a really seamless process for brands to sponsor streamers without leaving Base app. And once that's in place, I think a very logical next step is for them to then be able to buy and trade the Pyro token, as easily right from Base app as well. And so I would expect that at some point in the first quarter of this year, we're going to be looking very closely into that.
100%. I just have one final question. I'm going to make sure I get this to you. So right now you guys are doing these, on the screen type of things, right? Would you guys ever, if I was somebody who had an app and I wanted to do, I don't know, have the person make me a 15-second commercial or something like that, and then play that during the stream, is that something that you guys will consider, or is that something that's not up for even speaking
That's
about?
a good question. We will consider anything that can unlock value, but we do try to be very mindful of scalability. This is we are not just a broker, right? We are building this tech stack that is designed to be massively scalable. So the beauty of banners is that we can automate that so that it's very, very easy for sponsors to grab the banner and for the banner to show up instantly on a live stream. And we can envision that scaling to hundreds of streamers, thousands of sponsors competing for them. With ad slots, I think we could do it, right? But we would just want to make sure that if we do it, it's similarly scalable. And I think that what you guys and other creators are going to see is more sponsorship options beyond just the banner being unfurled over the next couple months. But again, we're going to make sure it's really streamlined before we go live with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different way of doing media for sure. And so I think the plan that you guys have is perfect. Really get your footing into being the dominant provider, because you are creating this meta and all that other stuff that can be scalable, that can be in the future a possibility, if that makes sense, right? But this excites me. I'm so glad that you guys came up with this idea, because my background is digital marketing. I had 10 years in the corporate world doing that. And so love it, love it, love it. But would love to give you the stage one last time, talk to our audience, maybe something we left out or a final message to them.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. From a Pyro perspective, I would say if you're listening to this, pay really close attention to us this week. We have some really exciting stuff that we've teed up, and we're going to be announcing some of our key roadmap initiatives and partnerships this week. So stay tuned for that, and they're going to align with this vision that we described during the show. I really do think that this first quarter of 2026 in particular is going to be a massive inflection point for creator capital markets and for Pyro. So it's a very good time to lock in. And then I'll also just mention, I've worked with you guys now for several weeks, and we've had just tremendous success with onboarding sponsors. There's so much demand for that banner space that you're seeing here. It's Pixel Games AI, which is a great project, currently owns the banner. But I know you guys have your coin on Zora. We talked about how the Zora base ecosystem probably makes the most sense for you. So for people who love on-chain revolution, just know that Pyro is working very hard with a lot of success behind the scenes to continue to scale you guys with respect to onboarding sponsors, and that value is being pushed to the creator coin on Zora, which I think is super exciting, and I'm very optimistic for how this partnership will play out.
Absolutely. So guys, go to pyro.buzz if you have a product or you have a business and you want to be in there. Just go bid on the banner space, right? Mm-hmm. Go to pyro.buzz, and like the man said, follow them on X, Pyro.dot buzz, and then you can see all those updates that they put out later this week. But Alex, man, it's been a pleasure. Love to have you back on in the future, but thank you so much for your time today.
Great. Awesome, guys. Thanks so much.
All right. Take it easy.
Thanks, Alex.
Bye.
And this right here, guys, is the Twitter account right here. So make sure you guys go over there and give him a follow. If you are building any type of media company or anything like that, if you're streaming, make sure you guys reach out to these guys. I think you would be very happy with them. I mean, just in the sense of, we've been talking to them on Telegram, like you said, for a few weeks, and nothing but great things to say about these guys. So go check out their product. If you are somebody who's building something and you're like, man, how the hell am I going to get this out there, right? It's kind of reminds me of like the Eminem thing where he's in the car at the end and he's like talking all this stuff, and at the very end he's like, damn, how am I going to get this out, right? You got all these builders, and then eventually they're like, damn, how am I going to get people to actually see my product? Well, this is a way, right? You can be on shows like ours, and they got many other shows and stuff like that out there as well. So definitely look into what they're building.
Absolutely. And I love the fact that Alex has a journalism background, because a lot of schools, the journalism and advertising departments are in the same, section. And so he has that background. So it's kind of like he's using some of the stuff that he probably learned from. And this is a new meta, like for CCM, sustainability. And out of any sector in finance, our space needs sustainability more than anybody, right? So I think products like this are amazing, and yeah, love working with those guys at Pyro.
100%. Let's jump back into news. I got a few more things to cover before we get out of here. So Grayscale announced that its Ethereum Staking ETF, ETHE, has become the first US ETH ETP exchange traded product to distribute staking rewards to investors. The firm also updated funds names to ETHE to ETH Staking E. I don't know, crap. But the big thing there.
You did that to yourself.
I regret putting that last line in there. But the real thing is that this is the first ETH ETF or ETP to put rewards in the hands of its investors.
I don't even know what you said, bro. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I can go at it again.
No. I just mess around. I'm just messing around with you. Yeah, look, I mean, at the end of the day, if these traditional investors, which, I imagine there's a good amount in this, are earning some sort of, kickback or like yield type of generating situation, they're excited about it because, for them, dividends is what they're used to, right? And that wasn't super easy to come by necessarily. You have to search that out pretty hard. So this is something I think that their holder or their client base is excited about. So
100%. And I remember when I was doing research into stocks before I found crypto, I found like AT&T, and I was like, this has been sideways for like 15 years. Why the hell are people investing in this? And then I heard something about dividends, and I'm like, oh, they get 6% a year. Mm-hmm. So it's to them. They don't care if the price goes up or not because they're getting paid in more shares, right? So it was just like, that was like an eye-opening moment for why, when I found staking, I was like, oh, I just got it right away. But yeah, 100%. But now you're getting paid in an asset that potentially will go up further. So that's pretty
Yeah,
cool to think
that's
about.
the difference.
AT&T where it's sideways. All right. Moving along though, hardware wallet Ledger suffered another data breach via its payment processor Global E, exposing some customer personal information, including names and contacts. So I don't know about you guys, but I bought a Ledger. I bought multiple Ledgers, and I highly recommend it. I love the Ledger project, but they will leak your information, your name, everything, because I get things every single day with my like legal name. It's like, hey, just your Ledger
I think
has
that's from them.
been 100%.
Oh, wow.
Because there's no other way. I mean, right? So I get Coinbase stuff all the time. Coinbase had my data leak as well. So I get Coinbase stuff where it's like, sign into your account today. We found malicious thing on your account. Signing in would prevent it and make sure this is you. And just some dumb shit.
Don't people get
You
money
look at
for
the
that?
email.
Like large group lawsuits or something?
But yeah, I mean, there usually is 100%, but you get paid like $4. Like, I don't even sign up for this. Like, I did one time, and I'm thinking I'm gonna get like, $100. I got like 96 cents, and I was like, why did I even waste my time of filling this thing out? And so yeah, it's not worth even doing those things. But I mean, Ledger again, bro. And we have them as an affiliate. Like, what do we do? Like, I mean, the product's awesome. The product
Be careful.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like,
I love the
data
follow up there. I love the sweep up.
No, but it is though. Like the Ledger product is amazing. Like it's the #1 hardware wallet. There's barely any.
I mean, everybody I know
with that,
has like decent size of anything uses a Ledger. They legally they have to put out every single little thing. You know what I mean? So I'd like to see a dollar amount if there's any dollar amounts that got exploited or anything like that. You know what I mean?
That's the thing too. It's hard to say because a lot of these now are going to be like what is it called when you get like someone like
fished,
talks you into it, not fish directly, but someone
engineering, social engineering.
It's like how do you judge what happened because of the hack, right? Because like anyone can be socially engineered.
It's a good test of your social engineering deflection skills.
I'm gonna get a degree in social engineering. No, I'm just joking. But moving along, Starknet is currently experiencing downtime and have been down for about 2 hours. So Starknet, no more blocks are being produced. This is one of the biggest winners of last year.
What?
I mean, they got up, but right now it's like they're having some.
They're on break. They're on break.
But let me ask you this: imagine if you needed to trade or bridge out or anything, and you're sitting there, and it's like, I mean, I've had Bitcoin blocks that were close to 2 hours, so it's not that bad. But I mean,
but it wasn't downtime.
What's the difference? The blocks they producing.
The difference is that like the chain is shut down.
Bitcoin's shut down until the next block.
No, it's still operating. It's operating as intended.
You can't do anything.
Yeah, but that's different. Like if the network is down, is different than you're waiting for like the network to.
Every time I gotta wait 90 minutes for a block. That chain is down.
I mean, it's horrible, especially if you're like excited about something and then you just got into that block or you're trying to mint something. By the way, if there's anybody out there that hasn't experienced minting collections or coins on Bitcoin, you should at least try it for once in your life. And no, I would say try it during a regular, like whenever it's not. Yeah, I think you should. I think it's a good educational thing. You know what I mean? I definitely do. But that's just coming from me.
So I just saw the person who did the anti-frogs or whatever that called. They said, "Hey, is anyone interested in doing a mint collection?" And I was like, "No." Because you lose money, it's not free because you have to pay the Bitcoin fee and it skyrockets during that period. So you're going to lose money.
You probably want to do it whenever the market's back a bit. You know what I mean?
I don't think the market's back for minting new ordinals.
Well, look, even if you use a scaling solution like Satsman, you're still doing it. You're still minting runes. You know what I mean? So
not in the way of getting the experience of doing it. You know what I mean? You're basically saying right now they do it to get the experience. If you're doing it through Satman, you're doing through.
No, I'm saying to understand how it works. To understand how it works. I mean, you could just watch a video, of course, but I don't know. I feel like I got a lot. I gained a ton of education from 2023 in 2024, and I know you did too. Like in terms of how Bitcoin works, the ins and outs, and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And so that's what I mean whenever I say that. But back to Starknet being down for 2 hours, that's pretty weird. But it's not weird for like if a normie was listening to this right now, they would be like, what do you mean? Like, you know, Cloudflare was down, you know, 2 weeks ago.
That's true.
And, you know, I had to wait for I couldn't do a bank transfer or something like that. And so to us, this is like something that sticks out because we know how it should work.
No, you're right,
For the regular person, they're just like, okay, like my internet was down for 8 hours yesterday because it snowed.
No, I agree. From a crypto standpoint, it's like the end of the world. But for a normie, it's like we'll just wait, guys. Like they'll come back up. All right, the last thing here is news from the trenches. We kind of looked at it a little bit earlier when you were talking about, you know, stuff is happening over there. But what do you think? You think it's time to start making sure we're looking again? Is it time to start looking over there and kind of see what's happening?
Yes. Just pay attention though. Pay attention. And it's hard if you're into that just to pay attention. Like people, you know, including myself. By the way, which has been a great thing of picking up this hobby of and you know, learning how to build stuff. It's kind of taken me away from like the casino a bit, right? So but there's a lot of stuff over there that's starting to move a little bit here, a little bit there. I still think the USD1 campaign narrative stuff is going to eventually kick up pretty aggressively. You're seeing well, I called it that it would cross 100. I thought it would happen a little bit sooner, but it's at 84, man. I mean, it's
struggling it's struggling to get to 90, bro.
Yeah,
but tried 1, 2, 3,
what is
4,
that?
5
the
times.
hour chart. Yeah, but you know, you keep knocking, eventually someone opens the door, right? So that's
what we thought with the ETH all-time high.
But look at that look at that set of candles there.
I know.
That looks like another leg is about to happen, does it not?
Yeah. So does money from here trickle down into some new launches? Like if you were about to launch a project right now,
not at first, obviously. At first, people are going to pour in there. Whales, though. So this is kind of, you know, ironic. The white whale is the one that's running because whales from the meme coin sector have been absent for the most part for you know, the second part of 2025 because it didn't make sense. They were getting wrecked. No one was holding anything at all. At least in the first 6 months, people were holding stuff that would go to Fartcoin, you know, went to like crazy amounts in some of these tokens. The second half of 2025, whales were not participating. If they were, it was so quick in and out. This can bring whales back. If this white whale token goes to, you know, it needs to go pretty high up, right? Now it needs to kind of change the mentality of the Solana trencher a bit. I don't know, you know, if that's even possible anymore, but something that is going to help is a coin going to 200 million, 500 million, eventually $1 billion market cap, right? Because that's what's going to bring whales back is to feel like they can be in a coin for longer than a day. You know what I mean? Because if they can't, they ain't going to participate.
No, I agree 100%. But look at this fake out, right? This trend line's going all the way back since like November around Christmas, right? And it was looking good. And then it looked like look at this fake, bro. Completely fake because they brought it back up. And then they were like, okay, fakey again, send it back down before they rip it up. And it does look like now we are seeing an all-time high right now. It's never been higher than it is right now. So we're seeing an all-time high after this fake out that we've just seen.
Yeah. This started off with a fake out too, and kind of a fake out and kind of just like how does this CTO continue situation? It went to 8 million, then it dropped to 800,000 at one point, right? And then you see where we are right now, 87 million. So for the people that are watching this though, this is a rare situation, right? Especially as of late for it to go this high and all those things. So just know that, you know, it's still a casino for a reason. It's called that for a reason, right? But you know, the more research, the more time you have in there. And I bring Gainesy's video up again because I do think he has a point. He says in 2025, whatever your strategy was in different parts of the sector of crypto and Web3, if it was leverage, then, you know, be consistent because eventually you'll get paid off by, you know, your thesis. If it was meme coins, be consistent because don't keep switching, because when you keep switching, you don't have conviction, and then you give up at the worst time in one of the sectors, right? I'm not saying do that. That's not what I'm saying, but it makes sense a bit what he's saying, because throughout this year is probably gonna be a rotation of different sectors. I do think people that get into leverage at some point are going to benefit when things are going crazy, right? But I think people that have been consistent with playing in the meme coin casino will hit one, or a couple, when it goes crazy. So it's more about your convictions and what you truly believe in, and that's what crypto's been about for a long time, anyways. It is changing a bit to be more conservative, for sure. That is a fact. But memes aren't going anywhere, and there will always be the casino, always, even if it's pushed into the corner of the space.
Yeah, no, I agree. We'll see what happens next, but it is looking good. I mean, it's looking solid for sure. But let's get out of here. We got all you guys, man, on YouTube and X. Really appreciate every single one of you guys, man. It means absolutely everything to us that you guys keep with us every single day. Blazing Bandits, Stan. Stan said, what's the top CCM category? So CCM is.
Well, I think he's talking about like content creators. Like, is it gaming streamers? Is it news shows like us? Is it?
We should have asked him.
Yeah,
I didn't understand the question, so I was afraid to ask it. But
yeah, I think that's what he meant by that.
Shout out to Webdro. He's understanding. He's important, my guy. I appreciate you. Webdro, what is rocking his frog that he won from the show?
OnChain Frog.
OnChain Frog. Appreciate you guys, man. Every single one of you guys rocking with us each and every day. It means the world to us. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Absolutely. Without you guys, oh my bad, I'll try to turn it off. Without you guys, we could not do the show. And we're gonna remind you guys that every single day, because we're so appreciative of your support. And for the people that support us through like Pyro and our partners, definitely appreciate you guys as well. And if you're looking to get that banner, head over to pyro.buzz. You can bid on it. Look for OnChain Revolution over there. But without our partners, we couldn't do the show as well. So if you could check them out, we would greatly appreciate that. Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength through the power of AI. They have their Wizard version 2.0, which is their Chains AI agent. And it can guide you through Merlin Chain's ecosystem, but it can also guide you through other ecosystems relating to Merlin Chain. All you got to do is have some Merlin Chain Bitcoin in your Merlin Chain wallet, which can be an EVM wallet like MetaMask, or a Bitcoin wallet like Unisat or Xverse, and put some Merlin Chain Bitcoin in it. And you can swap for tokens in Solana's ecosystem or BNB's as well. The wizard can guide you through Merlin Chain's ecosystem, like I said before, by doing DeFi swaps on your behalf, but also staking. And speaking of staking, they have a proof of stake security model that powers their chain, and you can participate in 3 ways. The first way is staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin, and they pay you out in Bitcoin, which is an amazing thing. Everybody loves this type of product, and Merlin Chain is at the forefront of this. Their first staking vault ended September 30th. They got 17% APR for their stakers, about 76 Bitcoin that staked. And their second one, which is gonna close in about 3 days, January 8th. They're shooting for around that same amount of APR, between 8% and 21%. But again, you get paid out in Bitcoin. So congratulations to the stakers that are about to get paid out in that. And look out for the new staking vault when that's going to open, because I'm sure it's going to open shortly after the 8th. There's 2 other ways to stake, and it's using the Merlin Chain token. The first one is the flexible day-to-day. You earn 15% APR to stake this one. You can claim your rewards every single day. You can do whatever you want with that, roll it up into a compound interest strategy, keep the tokens, sell them, whatever you want to do, right? But you can claim those every single day. Now, if you do want to withdraw the Merlin Chain tokens, there's a 7-day cooldown period, so just know that before you stake. And then the last option is the bonded option, which is a 6-month lockup period, right? You earn 45% APR for this one. You can claim your rewards every single day, which I think is really cool because it is 6-month lockup, but you can claim your rewards every day. You can do anything you want with those, just like the flexible there. They are locked up for 6 months, though, the Merlin Chain token staking tokens that you stake in there. So just know that as well. But check out merlinchain.io. Look out for their latest news on their X account. Merlin Layer 2, I believe, is their X account. As I'm expecting some big news from a big centralized exchange or something like that, just because they got listed on the perps over there. But check them out, merlinchain.io. And then our other partner is satsman.fun. Satsman.fun is the fun meme coin runes Bitcoin Layer 1 launchpad that is powered by ICP's beautiful tech stack that scales Bitcoin Layer 1 assets, right? So you can do all the minting of runes, etching if you want to start one, or mint it on the launchpad, all that stuff. But you can do it way faster because they utilize ICP's tech stack to make it kind of roll up there. But the exciting thing is they're getting very, very ready for a very soon launch for the public to be able to launch your own tokens, your own rune tokens on Bitcoin Layer 1. We're going to walk you through a tutorial on how to do that very soon, but it's gonna be fun. And we're also gonna create a video on, what makes meme coins successful, ones that are true meme coins with communities, building communities and doing all the stuff that you got to do for the bare minimum, at least, to try to get that community momentum. That'll be in our YouTube library there. But this team that's behind it is Omnity. So check them out as well. As they're constantly trying to innovate with Bitcoin by scaling it. But you're going to be able to bid on tickers that are coming up through satsman.fun. But once it launches past the minting process and it bonds, it gets the liquidity added to Ridge Swap, and that's where you can trade these tokens. Right now there are 2 Genesis tokens trading, 7Z, which is bouncing back right now. It was the very first token that launched on satsman.fun. And then there's also Land Wolf, which is a fun one, and it's one of the characters, I believe, from the Boys Club as well. So you can check that out. It looks like it has kind of pulled back, but a little bit of a pullback up there. But check it out. Reach out to us if you have any questions or anything like that about the platform, and we will gladly help you out. Make sure you follow them as well on their X account. But thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man. As always, if you guys have a few more minutes, I wouldn't mind checking out onchainrevolution.io. Some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering a space, please send them our website. I really feel like help them get started and code up to where we are today. Creator Capital Markets is the article you guys need to read. We talked about it today with Pyro, but this is going to be bigger than you are expecting. I promise you, this is probably one of the sectors that you are probably going to fade and miss out on. But this article right here will get you guys kind of caught up very quickly. It's about 2 to 3 minute read. Check it out today. And on top of that, we got articles about everything else, Merlin Chain, Omnity. If you guys are not really knowing what's happening the last couple of weeks, our articles are the best place to do that. And then on top of that, if you guys need a VPN, I highly recommend Nord. I use it each and every single day. If you guys are not using a VPN when you're going to sites, and especially launching tokens, you're making a mistake. People that, let's just say you dump, like an idiot. People can pretty much find out where you live if you're not using a VPN. But if you have a VPN on, you could potentially successfully pump a dump. No, I'm just kidding. But you can do anything with a VPN here. You can do kind of, put yourself in Italy, and you can show that you're from somewhere else. You don't want people getting your address, guys. You just do not want to do that, even if you are in the space for good reasons. It just doesn't make any sense. Just don't do it. There's no reason to. Get a VPN today, lock it in for 2 years, set it, forget it, lock it in for like $80. You get 27 months because you get 3 months free. It is stupid not to have a VPN. And on top of that, I would normally shill Ledger hardware wallets here, but with the recent Ledger data breach, I don't even know I should. But if you need a hardware wallet, if you're gonna buy from Ledger, just do it from our link here. But appreciate you guys. And remember, guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. And until tomorrow,
Peace.
OnChain revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough. No. You're not bullish enough. No. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear traps. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed, gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction.